Very good morning to you. Welcome to the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. We're broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Jeffrey Ozama. Guys, good morning.
And just as it folded beautifully, July is closing up yet again. Welcome. It's a beautiful, albeit showery Wednesday morning. It's the Morning Brief on Channels Television. I am Bukola Koka.
Well, some would say it's a wet Wednesday morning on the Lagos Island and mainland Lagos. I'm sure it's raining as well across Nigeria. Thank you indeed for joining us here on the program. We're broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. I am Kelly Egiga. Welcome back, Jeff. The Kilishi, please.
Kilishi is in Abuja. It was a 24-hour trip, so we're back to the ground.
The idea of Kilishi in Abuja is that it gets to Lagos.
I didn't really have time to even see the city. I was hopping from studios, so we went to the airport, so it was just a wild movement, literally. 24 hours, one of the busiest 24 hours I've had. But we're back to work, and one of the things we're following up is the issue of the SOKAPU, that's the Southern Kaduna People's Union. We had a conversation with their new president, Tabara, who talked about, when we asked him question about the litigation they put out against the Minister of Works, David Umahi. How much was that? Is it 10 billion or so?
10 billion.
They were asking, so we're trying to find out what exactly are you putting the money out just in case he's found guilty, or this is just general compensation. But well, they said they had to do what they had to do. We even asked questions about whether there's anything in their culture that suggests that forbids autopsy, because we know some religion and culture could forbid autopsy. Well, it's a none to his knowledge. But what we're hearing, I think they did a presser yesterday. I don't know whether that video is ready, where they're saying that they are being, threatened in their words, allegedly by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Well, he hasn't responded, challenging them or threatening them about why they instituted that suit against him. I don't know whether that is true, but this is an allegation that the minister must not be silent about. Did he call anyone? Did he issue any threat to these people for carrying out what will be considered their constitutional right to sue? You can sue anybody for whatever reason. The courts will decide the fate, whether the case is frivolous or not. So, if indeed, which I don't want to pass judgment until we hear all sides, that this was a call from the minister or from his people, it is not good. I want to use a very responsible word on air, because we're still trying to get the responses from all sides, so we're very clear. So for those of you who don't have the background to the story, Lady Habila, her name is Mary Habila, I think, had died. She was seconded to the Minister of Works, the Ministry of Works from the teaching hospital in Umahi to attend to maybe the health of the minister, and they used to stay in his residence. Well, a few months ago, the girl died. They said they had to break into her room to get her out. For some reason, high-profile person, somebody dies in your premises, people will ask questions, and it is a legitimate question. How did this person die? Given so many things that had happened about this particular issue. Well, they reached out to the parents. The parents also said, look, they don't want autopsy, because autopsy is able to be able to establish what is the cause of death. We don't know what killed that lady till now. The parents are saying they don't want autopsy, so everybody got curious. Why wouldn't you want your child, why wouldn't you want an autopsy on your child to know exactly what killed the person? Now that raised a lot of suspicion. Well, since the parents are saying they don't want, SOKAPU, which is Southern Kaduna, because that's where she's from, decided to take up the suit and file. And I think that's a legitimate thing to do in a civil society. Whether filing makes sense or not, the court will determine. But if indeed they threaten, the minister threatened them, there is in bad taste. But we don't want to pass judgment yet. We would like to hear from the minister. So, Minister Dave Umahi, this is not one of those moments where you ignore. You will answer. Did you pick up your phone or send your people to call these people to threaten them about the suit? Again, your name is in public, so you need to answer on this one. So we'll be waiting for your response.
Yeah. Well, again, the lawsuit is 20 billion naira, actually, and
20 billion?
20 billion naira lawsuits. So, well, for SOKAPU, I'm sure perhaps maybe this may not be unconnected with the fact that the president was on this platform, I think, on Monday, in that exclusive conversation. Perhaps maybe the minister would have seen that interview, and maybe that's why this is playing out. But I will ask the SOKAPU president to perhaps provide the evidence that indeed you got a threat by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. So what's the evidence you have? A voice note, a text message? Online we're seeing that you quoted the Minister of Works as saying, I will deal with you, I will teach you a lesson, but we need that evidence to be in the public domain so Nigerians can indeed verify if it was from the minister or not. And then again, this doesn't look too good for the minister's image. It's the second time he's having issues around women, controversies. There was the Uhiri lady, Tracy Uhiri lady, who had sued and made a lot of allegations around sexual harassment and all of that. Though she would eventually withdraw the suit and apologize to the minister and all of that, but this doesn't look too good for his image. We really want to see the end of this case and perhaps allow the family have some sort of closure, so that the body of the soul of the departed can indeed rest in peace. So Nigerians would love to see exactly what happened and love to know exactly what happened with Mary Habila, because these circumstances indeed are really very questionable. Just how she died. The reports unconfirmed that there was blood around her and all of that. Some said she was naked and all of that. We do not know the details of all of this, but I think Nigerians deserve to know the truth. Bukola.
A very, very sad story indeed. Very sad that we're talking about this particular young lady, I believe 26, in past 25.
Yeah, pretty young.
Yeah, very young. And past, very beautiful lady, by the way. But Kelly and Jeffrey, some things are not tying up. The colleague of this young lady who was giving a statement in an affidavit did not quite mention the circumstances in which she was found. And an online medium that is reporting that it had exclusive preview of pictures of the body of this lady when it was removed from the residence of the minister in Uburu, Ebonyi State, said she was found in certain circumstances. She was found particularly to be naked with blood perhaps on her mouth. But in the statement given by this lady, who raised the alarm that she was not seen the following morning as they would usually meet, didn't quite state the circumstances. And this is the lady that ought to have from the report had an exclusive preview of the circumstances of the death of this particular person. That's something that is not adding up. We spoke with Mr. Tabara Kato, the leader of SOKAPU, just some days ago. And as you know, a leader in SOKAPU and an elder, if you like, of Southern Kaduna, who should be aware of the culture of the people. He couldn't quite speak categorically about a certain culture that precludes autopsy in circumstances such as this. And so the family is ruling out autopsy and refusing to state clearly why they're ruling out autopsy besides that reference to culture, and is ruling out yet again any form of threat from any quarter. So there are things that are not coming together at all. Now, what was the nature of the threat? Let me double down on Kelly's position. Mr. Tabar should tell us what was the nature of the threat issued in this WhatsApp call made by the minister after he granted Channels Television that interview. And the minister has a duty of responsibility to respond to these issues, to clear his name. Of course, in part, it's in court, and the police has insisted that there will be an autopsy. So another institution that needs to speak yet again to give clarity to these issues is the police. We must hear from the police. But it's looking okay, somewhat, on the part of the minister, because he has said there would be an autopsy, has insisted on an autopsy. So to that extent, it's rather difficult, to suspect anything untoward. But so many other things are not adding up, and we await the investigation. We hope that this will not go down in history as one of many unsolved murders. If it does then go down in history as one of Nigeria's many unsolved murders, then Minister Dave Umahi would not have done his own name, a service. So we urge the minister to clarify as much as possible his name and ensure that this is resolved.
Yeah, we can't call it murder yet. The court has to make that determination, and the doctors have to make that determination as well.
Perhaps we call it an unsolved death,
mysterious death, because the circumstance, as Kelly has said, too many things around Dave Umahi, too many controversies about these kind of issues, and I think this is nothing he should be waiving, because it has to do with his reputation, it has to do with his political future, and he needs to answer all of those questions to provide. Because I watched him say, I want an autopsy done. And I think, although he may not be able to totally determine that, I think it is in his interest to see how he can persuade the parents to make sure this autopsy is done. Because if this autopsy is not done, Minister Dave Umahi, people believe otherwise, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do about people's perception. It may not be the reality, so you should do your best to clear your name as far as this issue is concerned, because a lot of people are looking at you funny, so it's important you clear your name on this particular matter. But we'll move away from there to the issue of, we saw a report somewhere where we understand that Nigerians were part of the people seeking asylum, and I was like, oh no, not again. So the World Cup was hosted in 3 countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico, or you go the other way around, Mexico, United States, or Canada. We saw a report from one of the dailies saying about 176 nationals who went to the World Cup in Canada are seeking for asylum, and listed amongst them is Nigerians, or among them we have Nigerians. So we do not know how that happened, but I don't know whether that rubs off well on us as a country, as a people. We know the country is very difficult. Let nobody deceive you. No matter what the government is saying, they know the truth. Nigeria is hard right now in terms of the economy is biting. Security agents are doing their bit, but there's insecurity. So it's really a tough place to live in. But this is the country we have. We have to make it work one way or the other. So it was within people's right to seek to, live for greener pastures by their own definition, or greener pasture by their own definition. But using through this World Cup, guys, is what is a bit one kind. Let's use the word one. Nigerian has one kind in my head. What do you guys think?
I think it's a common practice over the years that whenever there's this kind of global tournament, some people
they plan their trip.
They just plan their trip. So that once after the tournament, you know what? You look for a way to just, disappear or just stay or remain in that country. I think our sports correspondent Cecilia and I, we had a conversation some months ago about this, and she was telling me how somehow she got a call from the U.S. Embassy when a particular colleague, well, not from this platform, another platform, had to cover the elections, and they're calling her to ask her, are you sure that this guy will come back if he goes to cover the elections? Sorry, the World Cup. I'm not sure what year was that again. So we're used to people doing this, but maybe we should take solace in the fact that not only Nigerians, Ghana, Senegal are also in that list as well. We're not alone
in this asylum seeking measure.
I totally disagree with you. Yeah, I thank God you're a pastor, Kelly. Your scripture says those who compare themselves with themselves are not what?
Well, they're not seeking to steal anybody. they're just seeking for cover.
Curiously, guys, at a certain point in history, I'm not going to mention the names of the characters involved now, if not some people will come for me, some people who are watching, but I have been told about a particular colleague in the World Cup that was done in the early 2000s, a journalist who went to cover that World Cup for a particular radio medium. Right after that World Cup, they never saw the journalist again, and so today the journalist has not returned to Nigeria. So, as you have said, Kelly, it's a typical trend, albeit one that is not very flattering on Nigeria. It shows again the issues. It reflects the issues back home. But I'm looking at
the continent.
Yeah, back home. Let's try to use at home. So I'm looking at the conditions, precedent to being granted asylum and participating in the World Cup. I don't know what issues they would then present if they were to make the formal request, but there are issues of persecution. Some people citing belonging to a particular group. I've in fact seen some videos posted on certain blogging sites where some people claimed to be certain peculiar category of persons, and therefore they didn't quite talk about us. I think that they tied it to asylum, and so those are the conditions. But those people must be investigated to be sure that indeed they have, experience issues of persecution back home, and then they belong to particular groups for them to qualify for asylum. But more often than not, those are very spurious circumstances, and then it speaks to the integrity of certain Nigerians back home as well. But if they have they've done their homework and they use the World Cup route, what shall we say? If the foundation is distressed, what shall the righteous do?
We're talking all the time on this, but our girls didn't pull off a good one yesterday. Lost to Malawi, which making an appearance at the WAFCON, I think for the first time, 2-1. But I wore my Nigerian flag. I'm still in. So when it comes to national team,
when it comes to football, Jeffrey.
No, football. When it comes to national team, I don't joke. I could, play around. I'm a Chelsea fan, all of that. But when it comes to our national team, I'll support the girls all the way because they've always made us proud. But it wasn't a good outing for them. I wish them the very best as they continue to campaign on the continent. But we will take up. By the way, guys, July. What is this? July what? 29th. So July is how many months? 31, are we? 31 days.
Yeah.
I want to beg all political parties, all, please, especially now that the court has cleared the way for ADC and the rest of it. Please, this month should be the last month. We should be here discussing leadership, registration, name change, deregistration. What is that? So APC, if you are responsible as alleged, I know you have denied, stop. If you're not, you people that are involved in all of this, put your house in order. Politics is a zero-sum game, so nobody's going to watch you come and kick them out of power. So whoever is please, let's stop, because from August we want to start discussing issues that are important to Nigerians. Keep your shenanigans with respect for another time. We just have a few months to the election. It's now time to ask the real questions on what you have done so far, and of course the alternative ideas from other political parties, so the Nigerians can make a decision.
Well, Jeffrey, whether or not the politicians put their acts together, I'm proposing on this particular platform
that
we combine the issues, we create space for the issues, dual space for reflecting what the courts are saying, how the political parties are either conducting themselves, and as much as possible we begin to get the candidates to come in and talk about their agenda for Nigeria, to articulate their manifesto. Speaking of which, by the way, it's about 6 months to the elections now. Has the ADC presented its manifesto to Nigerians? Do we know what the NDC manifesto is? And so we should begin to engage leaders of those political parties and their candidates to come and articulate the policy ideas, the alternatives that they have as solutions to Nigeria's problems.
We have the space for them, so we're waiting for them.
We'll invite them. Don't worry. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we say, who is a member of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, is standing by to help us make sense of what the papers are leading with. Stay with us.